Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today here in Caravanserai, where we continue exploring this place. In the last episode we met a guy that was obsessed with a lady that was dead, and he resurrected her, and he was hoping to do other things with her, but she didn't want to, so she ran away. And we convinced him to run away as well, because that solves all problems. All love issues are simply solved by running away. That's the best. Of course, you need both of them to run away, which did happen. So it was a happy ending in the end. Happy ending in the end. Where else would you have the ending? Well, anyway, doesn't matter. Let's go around. Let's explore Caravanserai. And this place looks interesting. What is that? These plants cling to the top of the walls. Their roots hanging in the empty air. Their means of obtaining nourishment eludes you. Well, they probably would obtain nourishment from the air, because that's where plants get their nourishment. Do you know that trees, the vast majority of their mass is actually made of the carbon that comes from them is the one that they get from CO2? Yep, not from the earth, not from the earth. I mean, not that they don't need the earth, of course, but still. Got a sailor up here. Not taking to the air tonight, are ya? That's a bad night for it. Is it? What is that? Driftwood held aloft by suspension platforms provides a useful, if somewhat perilous, bridge between the docks and ships moored in the area. I like how that is like that, because usually in olden days, the docks and the mooring of the ships, it'd be pretty perilous. To get into a ship, you might fall into the water. These days it's different, but Master Reni is this guy's name. This airship master is keeping a nervous eye on his vessel. He is a short and wiry man dressed in travel-stained but well-kept clothing. He is chewing on his impeccably groomed mustache in frustration. As you approach, he turns away from his vessel. Welcome to Master Reni's aerophile adventures. I'm afraid that I will not be departing anytime soon. Not since the theft. He says the word carefully, as if holding it at bay. I've always taken pains to see the best in people, he confides, swallowing hard. But that was before that runty, glowing, straw-haired idiot stole the coronet, my prized airship. Wait a minute, that's not Eritis, is it? He shakes his head, genuinely distraught. Until that thief is caught, my ship remains in dock, safely shuttered and chained. He breaks off when he sees Eritis standing near you. Him! That's the thief! Thief? I've never stolen a thing in my life. I've borrowed, certainly, but always with the intention of returning the item to its proper owner. Though I must admit that I haven't always been entirely successful.
Making a note.
I demand compensation! My vessel, my source of livelihood, snatched by this vagrant! He stares hard at the oblivious glaive. I require justice. I will take it from the I will take it in the form of service, he says. Well, this is a nice one. This is I like that. I like that. I like that first line. Let's see. So basically, this is the owner of the ship that Eritis crashed. I'm not gonna let Eritis go though. Can I pay off his debt? Maybe? I mean, do you really need him to work for you? Certainly, though you'd be responsible for the cost of the airship's current value, filing fees, and assorted labor. He raises his chin. 300 chins, and not one less. He won't have it, I'm sure, he thinks. But by the gods, that's what this thief cost me. Oh. Okay, this is interesting, because he's giving me this deal hoping not. Well, it's weird because he's not hoping, but he's not expecting it to get through for me to be able to pay for the ship, because 300 chins, apparently it's very much. It's a lot of money. I mean, judging by the operations that we had on us before. But more importantly, he's actually being honest. I think that is indeed what he cost him. But let's still try to haggle a little bit. Maybe we can settle on another option. What then? Okay, well, this just goes back over here. But I wanted to say, is there any other way we can resolve this? I would prefer that the guilty party make amends, but I would accept monetary compensation for the losses. He shakes his head. I doubt the young thief has the money at hand, however.
Making a note.
He pries at the bridge of his nose with ink-smudged fingers. I'd consider bringing the matter of compensation before the Council Clerk, but we have had a number of, arguments in the recent past. I doubt he'll help me. That four-eyed bastard wouldn't pick up a pen without grease for his wheels. Damned if I am giving him any, he thinks. Okay, so he's an honest man. I like him, but yeah, I'll speak with him. Wait here. Really? He says, his eyebrows climbing. Well, good luck. The gentleman is somewhat difficult to work with. You'll find the clerk outside the council tower in Government Square. Okay, well, I know where that is. I believe it is this way. Government Square. Okay, so we're going to Government Square right now, and we'll come back. I clicked him just out of instinct. I didn't think it was an important guy. Just said master, and I thought, okay, so it's a master like these guys are young and all that stuff. But no, let's go to Government Square. Ooh, look at that. We have fish people. I suppose that's not... I don't even know what that is. And also magic statues.
My friend, Orthfong at the Order of Truth, was looking into something for me. I'd like to stop by there. Problem is, most of the priests and I don't get along too well.
Yeah.
They might not want to talk to me.
Yeah, I got that impression when we were Calistige or whatever. But why? Why wouldn't they talk to you? Like I said, we don't get along. Probably because I called them out on their timidity and their bowing and scraping to the slave families. But hells, maybe they've forgotten. Frauds, all of them, he thinks. They care more about advancement than actually helping anyone. Maybe they've forgotten, huh? Okay, well, alright, I'll ask them. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. No problem. We have wealthy townspeople. We have a guy called Irathor Bren, and that name is not unfamiliar to me. And also we have city officials and levies and another guy over there. Merchants. Man, this place is interesting. That's the statue right there. Oh, we can look at the statue. Good. Carved into the base of the statue are the words, the Order of Truth. And that is indeed the Order of Truth over there. Good. So we have levies, we have nanos. What the hell is that? What is this? What is that? I don't want to interact with that. That's not water. Are those slimes? Those are slimes, aren't it? Aren't they? Aren't it? They seem to be working in a... It's weird how they kind of... Sir, do you know what this is? Fine day, isn't it? Fine day. Well, it kind of is, but it is actually. It's really fine. What is this? This fountain is constructed of a material that seems halfway between wood and stone. It doesn't contain water, as might be expected. Instead, it's filled with swarming tiny fish-like creatures that leap and cavort in a wrangling mass, chattering to each other in what sounds like 1,000 different tongues. These are jallies, nearly harmless creatures that are usually found in clouds above the sea. What they are doing in this fountain is another mystery. I can catch one. I think I can. Let's try and catch one. Let's see if anybody can better than I can. It's 30% over there, and she's a little bit better at it, so let's go with an 80% right there. Can go better. I do it. Nice. You deftly snatch a single fish from the glistening, tumbling flood. The bubbling mass of remaining creatures squawk together in a nonsensical outrage. I'm sorry. It's an oddity. You caught this creature from a fountain of sorts in Government Square. Small, fish-like, and constantly swarming. It never requires food or other nourishment, and it gibbers constantly in an undecipherable language. Let's try and listen to what the creatures are trying to say. You fold your arms, listening intently to the fish jabber at each other. It sounds like a cloud of nonsense syllables mashed in baby speak. Oh, an amnesia has kicked in. A few oft-repeated sounds tug at your memory until something unravels. You stand before a rusty intelligence terminal, surrounded by crooked ruins, laying unfamiliar hands against the cracked glass. You speak words in all the languages you know. This takes some time. The terminal awakens at the sound of an ancient guttural greeting. You recognize it immediately as one of the words the fish-like creatures are babbling cheerfully at each other. That doesn't tell me much, but I dismissed that. Okay. Let's examine the woodstone fountain. The fountain, now that you're looking at it, is unfathomably old. Coppery, tongue-like decorations curl up and curl up and over the rim of the structure, as if lapping at the endless stream of creatures within. You take in the surrounding architecture before returning your gaze to the fountain. The structure easily predates the buildings in this plaza, and possibly the city. It might even be older than the Ninth World. Wait a minute, this city was built in the 9th world? I thought it was kind of a mess of everything from before, but... Okay. Let's spend more time listening to the creatures. Okay, I can't do anything else. I'm not gonna try to catch another creature because they might bite me. Now that I know what I'm trying to do. And I'd rather not get sick, because these guys seem to be a little bit angry. Let's not do that. So we're trying to talk to Sigyn. Who do we need to talk to again? The airship thief. Settle Master Renio. Okay, so I need to go to Master Renio. Oh, no, wait a minute. Master Renio was the guy that we talked to. That's the quest that we did. So let's see. Reni would accept monetary compensation for the city authorities, assuming they're willing to provide them. If I could 1%, Council Clerk in the government square. Okay, so I need to... Oh, there it is. There's the guy over there. Ooh, this looks like... I need my shipments released. Oh, this is cool. It's like a open field sort of judgment petition stuff. Something. Let's have a chat with him. It's kind of weird that I'm not talking from down here. Behind a lectern, a four-eyed Glau... Oh, I thought he had glasses. I thought he was just saying... Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at these guys. What are they doing? I didn't see them before. They remind me of the surgical drones, but are they cameras? Are they looking at that guy? Anyway, I thought he just had glasses, but apparently he actually has 4 eyes. A four-eyed, hairless mutant processes paper with balletic grace. I think that's dance-like grace, as in from a ball. I don't know. Anyway, he's endlessly snapping the elegant fingers of his left hand, and each time the air twists and shimmers, either disgorging a document to be processed or accepting one that is completed with his ink-stained right hand. Each of his eyes regards a distinct object, portals that are opening, preambles and recitals that must be reviewed, his own addenda that must be flawless. One eye twitches in your direction. Exaggerated scorn twists his mouth, and though his eye remains fixed on your face, he gives no verbal acknowledgement. The closest he comes is a faint sigh. At last, after shunting half a dozen more documents, excuse me, to some distant cubby, he condescends to speak. You must wait, of course, until council matters conclude. His quarter gaze leaves you. His quarter gaze, yeah, right. His face returns to its former and equanimity. Then he continues his work, which shows no evidence of slacking, let alone concluding. I assure you that my matters are important enough to be worth a moment of your time. Okay, I'm gonna need to convince him. That's gonna be easy, though. I'm gonna go with that. Right there, 95, good stuff, a lot of edge, awesome. The clerk conveys his personal regard for the importance of your matter with a long, loud sigh, but he focuses one of his eyes on you and replies, very well, very well. Let us weigh the worth of your needs, shall we? What is it that you want? I'd like to talk about paperwork. A faint sigh is the only acknowledgement you receive. I'm trying to resolve a legal dispute between 2 men named Eritis and Renio. Eritis crashed an airship of Renio's. Can you help? Do you think that because I can make a document vanish at the snap of my fingers, I can do the same for a civil suit? Or civil suit? I think that's how it's said. He shakes his head with slow condescension. It's not so easy. The only relief the city could provide would be taking over Eritis' liability for the accident, through a certificate of indemnity. But I assure you the council does not take on such liability willy-nilly, nor does it grant its clerk discretion to fritter away the city's money. He stares at you with 2 eyes. Only someone much more important than you or I could persuade the council to do such a thing. Have you such a friend? What if I offered you how can I find someone who could help me? Finding the powerful is never difficult. Their glory shines like a beacon over the entire city. Look among the slave families for one who needs assistance of the sort your kind provides. Even the mighty, especially the mighty, understand the principle of quid pro quo. Okay, so that sounds good. Why can't you just help me, though? The clerk sighs in exasperation. A well-ordered city is a powerful, implacable machine. A passerby cannot change its operation merely by jumping up and down and shouting, nor does a mere cog have the power or volition to act of its own. Rather, one must cry out to those whose hands are on the levers of power. That's an interesting... Yeah, So could you tell me how to find... No. to find someone who might be able to help me? By the Black Three. Are you an idiot? Find a powerful person and render a favor. Yeah, I kind of figured. So I don't know any for right now. Then your request is denied. Okay, so I'm not gonna bribe him. I don't think that's gonna work. Also, I don't want to spend my money for this. If I want to spend money, I'm gonna spend the money paying the guy, and that's gonna be that. What exactly are you doing with all these papers? The clerk shakes his head at your ignorance. I am taking them from where they were to where they must be by bending the space between. And as they pass across my lectern, I assure that they are properly prepared. To the body politic, I serve as heart, kidney, and nervous system all in one. He snaps his fingers, opening a portal and flicking a scroll through it. Before I undertook this role, the council employed layers and layers of logothetes, scriveners, registrars, and couriers, each corruptible, vulnerable, insular. The Momovira's tendril grew through the cracks in this teetering edifice. He stares at you with two bright eyes. But now there is only myself. Had I not come to this office, I wonder who would rule the city. Not that Memovira has not tried. Memovira. Who is Memovira? I want to know what that is. Memovira has not tried, but even she cannot corrupt the incorruptible. Memovira's tendrils grew through the cracks in that teetering office. Is that the ruler of the city? Yeah, who's Memovira? I didn't see that question. The clerk scowls without looking up. Some builders raise monuments of marble. Others tear the monuments down, cook the marble to lime, mix the lime into concrete, and use the concrete to make hardened bunkers. He shakes his head. Organizations can be made the same way. And people... The Memovira has demolished many things, and from the rubble has built an impenetrable organization of hardened souls. You would be wise to keep your distance. But you don't look wise. So where can I find the Memovira? Apparently it's an organization. She, though? I don't know. The clerk chuckles quietly while filling out a form. The bloom. A moment later he adds, sometimes it seems one can indeed judge a book by its cover. Oh, you don't even know me, my friend. You don't even know me. I'd like to ask you some general questions. A faint sigh is the only acknowledgement you receive. So, who are you and what exactly are you doing with all these papers? Didn't I ask that already? Oh, but he says a different thing. I'm neither a tourist attraction nor a docent. He sniffs, but the irritation in his voice is only a thin disguise for the obvious pleasure he takes at your interest. He elaborates. I'm the Council Clerk, and onto me falls the responsibility of directing the fate of every official document in Saga's Cliffs. His tone becomes wholly boastful as he continues. I am the mind that channels the blind, nervous impulses of this city and turns it into muscular action. He preens, adding a certain flair to his routing of the paperwork. Nature, of course, provides every being with its proper niche, and here my power to bend space, my divisible vision, and my unerring integrity allows me to carry out a task that no other in the ninth world could possibly undertake. He sighs, but with rapture, not exasperation. A venal man, a distractible man, an ordinary man would break beneath a temptation and strain, but not I, he says. With that, his bureaucratic scowl returns. Suddenly, the world changes. You're in a laboratory that reeks of spoiled milk. In a vat before you, floating in gray viscous fluid, is a very young child. His skull is in your hands, and you're kneading and stretching it like though. Could it be him? Two nubbin eye spots stare from above his natural eyes. He's owling. As he clenches and unclenches his tiny fists, oddments appear and disappear. A blue rag, a gourd rattle, a lock of black hair. Someone else's thought comes into your head. He will do. That's... Nature didn't create you. I created you. Your words are enough to stop the clerk in his work, if only for a moment. All four eyes stare at you, probing, searching for a smirk on your lips or a twinkle in your eye. Finding nothing, he resumes routing the city's papers, but some of the grace is gone from his long fingers. At last he sniffs. Next, no doubt you'll jest about betting my mother. His forced tone reveals he took it for no joke, but For all his gift in filing, he seems unable to fit what you've told him into his mind. Impossible, he thinks, and inconvenient. Really? Why is it inconvenient? So what exactly is the council, and how does it govern Sagas Cliffs? The clerk sniffs. Paper governs Sagas Cliffs. Paper allows the few to rule over the many. Paper allows the many to organize into a single wall. Authority resides in dictats, compacts, agenda, the means by which thoughts are refined, disseminated, and preserved. Of course, the council has a part as well. Each of the great slave families sends a representative, and they dicker and bicker until they form the will embodied in paper. And I am the clerk. Okay, that's really... So, he's the most important person in this city, at least according to him. He might have a skewed vision of, a skewed perception of what actually goes on in the government, but even then, I mean, it's weird that he's staying out here, and unless he... Wait a minute, but if I created him, there may be more, and that might explain why his vision is so skewed. So if he dies, because I'm kind of concerned, if he's so important, and if he's unchangeable, killing him would do... I mean, you need some work. He's very well protected, but, I mean, it wouldn't be impossible. So killing him would be disrupting to the city. So if you had, like, an enemy of the city here, killing this guy would destroy everything, unless there was backups of him. Especially if he was created instead of born. Huh. So, can you tell me about the city's history? Why exactly would an overburdened clerk be able to willingly or willing to recite this city's sad tale of decline? Then a certain twinkle appears in all four of his eyes, and he begins to speak. Here's what the documents themselves reveal, not in their words, but in their very selves. He works faster as he tells the story. Centuries ago, when the Ninth World was fresh, the city began. Its founders kept meticulous records, all lost. Only the columbarium that held them remains. Isn't that the place where they keep the doves? Not doves. What? Is it? Yeah, it is doves, right? Male doves. Is it doves or is it the other? You know, the birds that take letters from one place to the other. That's what the columbarium is. And why do they call it that? I think some words might have been corrupted, like the compacts and dictats. Huh. A time of aristocrats followed. Each paterfamilias traced his lineage to ancient heroes and inscribed these lies in stone. Today, those tablets pave the midden heaps built in the wake of Chilla's rebellion. He clucks his tongue in distaste. That came later. That's when the slave families rebelled. That's what it is. First came the Tabat. And as they laid siege to Sagas Cliffs, the city's records degraded. Like hygiene and decency, proper documentation falters in long years of terror. With a shrug and no detail, he adds, but the siege failed and the Tabat vanished. Next, an age of decadence. Fantastic game. The long gestating consequence of the aristocracy's ever more outlandish choices. In screeds, they laid out their reason to the people, not to explain, but to mock. Naturally, rebellion followed. Chilla cast down the old lords and raised up new slave families. An empire expanded, contracted. Holidays and boulevards changed names. What is holidays? Yeah, okay. I thought they were putting them in the same place, but holidays is a thing, of course, and boulevards are another. All else persisted. Corruption, most of all. At last, a new clerk came, bringing order. And he bows, and here we are. I really like how he tells the story of the city based on his own perception. Again, I really like that. That's an extremely good way of building a character, of writing characters in general. It's really good. It is really, really, really good. Yeah, you must have uncovered some fascinating stories about the city in all this paperwork. Naturally, the clerk replies. But for a moment, notions of privacy and probity keep him quiet. Then one of his eyes flicks in your direction, and you can see he's avid to indulge the twin pleasures of the voyeur and the gossip. There's this from an ambassador sent to the Steadfast. He snaps his fingers, summons the dispatch, and clears his throat and reads, Today, with great ceremony, the Aeon priest bury a man said to have lived 277 years. I asked how this grey beard had lasted so long and was told as follows. 300 years ago, there was a painting of spectacular beauty hung in the Dirk Hall, a relic from before the Ninth World. For reasons unknown, the work was incomplete. The Amber Pope believed that if finished, it would reveal a truth about human nature that had eluded all intellectual inquiry. He proclaimed that whatever painter could complete it would receive a cipher that would enable him to live for 250 more years. Great artists flocked to the Dirk Hall to examine the masterpiece, but when they saw it, none dared lift a brush. At last, I should say, a young whitewasher approached, carrying brushes and rollers and buckets of paint. "I can finish this," he declared. The Amber Pope nodded, and the boy flung an entire bucket of paint across the canvas. The blank region was filled, but the painting was splattered with white, its majesty gone. The Pope held to his vow and bestowed longevity upon the whitewasher. He was, however, borne to the torture pits below the Dirk Hall, where he remained until that very day, when at last his long life ceased. The clerk folds the faded dispatch, returns it to its envelope, and sends it away, saying no more. That's really creepy. It's not really interesting, but creepy. Where did you say I could find the memo Vera? Oh yeah, it says the same thing. Okay, can you tell me another story? After Chilla tore down the old ruling families, there was a time when the council stripped the euphemisms from its ledgers, and one sees such and such paid for racking a nobleman till he gave up his stash of shins, and such to settle the claims of mothers bereft of their children by rampaging mobs. One can debate whether this is shamelessness or transparency, but it has yielded an entry of terse brilliance, a sum allotted for the assassin to dispose of said whale. I don't really understand what he's saying. He smirks. In a less literal age, said whale might have been the spendthrift scion of a mercantile clan or a contessa of grand scale, but not here. These were funds requisitioned to assassinate a whale, no more, no less. The eye regarding you twinkles with delight, and best of all, it seems the mission failed. One wonders, how does one assassin miss a whale? Indeed, how does one? But these are not interesting stories. That's quite... Is it telling? Red ink, the clerk declares. For centuries, the council's amanuenses would record the council's commentary on proposed legislation with red ink. Then the draft law would be returned to the solicitors in the basement of the council tower to frame anew. He plugs an example from the era regulation concerning the stabling of Anine. You see? He sends it back whence it came. And then, abruptly, the annotations are in blue ink. An eye stares at you. Why? He asks, rhetorically. One finds in the criminal docket an entry concerning a solicitor executed for waste of official resources, to wit, 8,216 liters of red ink. Drowning was the sentence, the clerk shrugs. I suppose he was not drowned in red ink. He snaps his fingers and produces a thick sheaf of papers, which he thumbs through like a deck of cards. Each is covered in red revisions. Draft after draft after draft. It seems he could never get it quite right. Oh, I see. So, no more red ink. That's... Okay, well, I'll see you later, Council Clerk. That was a pleasure. The clerk gives no acknowledgement that he heard and merely continues with his work. Yeah, that's kind of weird. But anyway, I think we need to make a visit to somebody of power, find a quest for some of those little guys and, well, mighty people apparently, and see if we can, I don't know, garner some grace among the powerful of this city, so then we can pay for Eriti's misdeeds or something. I don't know. Anyway, we're out of time for the day, so for now, I'm Colonel RPG. And this has been Torment, Tides of Numenera. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video, but above all, thank you so much for watching. And I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.